guys.
What up, guys? This is
Cheevo, guys.
back here again with another video. Today, I'm gonna be showing you guys some gameplay from the brand new Cruis'N game, Cruis'N Blast. This game was originally released as an arcade in 2017, however it just made its way to the Nintendo Switch. It released today, September 15th, 2021 for the price of $39.99. I gotta say, I absolutely love this game, but I'm also a big fan of the old school Cruis'N and LA Rush games, or any arcade racer in general. But yeah, even though it has a steep price point for an arcade racer, personally I think it's well worth it. Just because I'm a big fan of arcade racers like this. I used to play a ton of Cruis'N in the arcades at Peter Piper's when I was younger. I also owned Cruis'N USA on the Nintendo 64. Most people associate Cruis'N with Nintendo. That's probably why Cruis'N Blast ended up on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I think it's interesting that Nintendo didn't actually publish this game. It was actually published by Gamemill Entertainment, and it's developed by Raw Thrills. They're popular for creating arcade games, like actual games in the arcade. Now let's take a minute to talk about what this game has to offer. So first and foremost, we're going to go to the extras tab and see what they have there. We're actually going to have a few things, starting off with some leaderboards. I want to point out that the leaderboards are local. They're not online leaderboards or anything like that. You can also track your tour progress here, or even check out your cars that you own in your garage, as well as what level they are. And then finally, the leaderboards, as I just mentioned before. Again, it's offline leaderboards, not online. Aside from that, let's go back to the menu. We have local play, which allows you to play locally against another Nintendo Switch. Aside from that, the game does have split screen multiplayer. You can go into multiplayer and you can play up to 4 players on the same Nintendo Switch via split screen. Aside from that, we have a few single player modes to keep you busy. Starting off with the main story mode that doesn't really have a story. That's called the Cruis'N Tour. But on top of that, we have the classic arcade mode. We also have time trials, as well as just starting up a single race, nice and simple. Now at first, a ton of the maps and cars are going to be locked, and you're gonna have to play the game to unlock them. Starting off with Cruis'N Tour. So at first, you'll only be able to play on easy or normal. I'm gonna start off with normal, and as you can see, we only have one of the 7 tours unlocked. You're going to have to play through the tours to unlock additional tours, and each tour has 4 new tracks or levels, for a total of 28 levels. Aside from that, we have a bunch of different cars. These are the cars that are available at default. You can unlock additional cars by playing through the Cruis'N Tour and collecting keys. Each track has 3 collectibles or 3 keys. If you unlock all of the keys, it gives you an opportunity to purchase additional vehicles, which you do have to spend your money on. Aside from that, we do have some customization options, including, changing the paint on the car. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the green. Aside from that, we have upgrades, but to apply those upgrades or unlock them, you need to play the game with that specific car to level it up. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and start up our first Cruis'N Tour. I'm going to be showing you guys gameplay of the first tour. That's going to be 4 different tracks. I want to point out that Cruis'N has never had lapped races. It's always just from start to finish through a level. So we're not going to be playing laps or anything like that. It's not boring. It's actually a lot of fun. You just play through the full race, and it's super hectic. And it's just a classic arcade racer, guys. It really feels like you're sitting down in an arcade playing this game. I also want to point out that this is probably one of the most beautiful games that I've seen on the Nintendo Switch. I was really impressed with the graphics that it was showing via the Nintendo Switch. And not only did the graphics and the colors really pop, but the game was running in 60 frames per second. I know the graphics aren't realistic or anything like that, but for being an arcade racer, I really did appreciate the graphics, the style, and all of the colors. Now, there really haven't been too many big racing games this year, but out of all of the ones I've played, this is definitely my racing game of the year so far. If you're interested in racers and you haven't picked this up quite yet, I highly recommend Cruis'N Blast on the Nintendo Switch, even at the $39.99 price point. You can just get a lot of fun out of the game, even if you're playing by yourself or in multiplayer. And on top of that, it appears that the game has a ton of replay value in terms of going through the tours again, playing on different difficulties, unlocking all of the cars, and unlocking all of the tracks. The game definitely has personality, and it definitely gets wacky. As you progress through the game, you can even unlock a unicorn or a dinosaur as your vehicle, where you're basically racing against all of these other cars with the dinosaur or a unicorn. Pretty ridiculous. The funny thing is the sound effects coming from the unicorn or the dinosaur are, sound effects from a vehicle, so you kind of hear the dinosaur vroom vroom, which is pretty funny. They probably should have put some custom sound effects for those additional characters or vehicles. Aside from that, I just placed first place in the first of the 4 races in the first tour. So we have 3 more races to go, guys. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys the other 3 races with no commentary. That way you guys can hear the background music as well and get the full experience. I did upload this video in 60 frames per second, so if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you are showing it in the highest quality. Otherwise, it's going to default to a lower quality version of the video. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this gameplay footage of Cruis'N Blast running on the Nintendo Switch.
First place.
Alright guys, if you stuck around for that whole gameplay, I truly appreciate it. We ended up getting first place in the first 2 races, however we ended up getting in third and then second place in the third and fourth. As always, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 16 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including TimG84, AOJ, Kegger101, Kana25, Michael Banksa, and Purple Rain 6. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.